Well, good evening again, all my little Pokemans. I want to talk to you about a board game I really like. Well, kind of an RPG, sort of. Battletech. Now, this game's been around for a nice long time. Um, I remember starting to play it in the 90s myself, and that was version 3. Um, I was playing with a friend, um, and it was his set of stuff we were playing with. So I learned when I was in high school how to play this in general. It's pretty fun. It's hexagonal-based maps, battle mechs, lots of paperwork with dots you fill in. It's characters are either pre-made or totally customizable. I mean, really customizable. There's a whole lot of stuff you can do as far as building your critter the way you want. And it gets even deeper the more extra books you buy. I thought it was crazy enough when you started with the basic rule set and basic printouts. And if you do buy a set of Battletech, every one I've ever bought has a basic copy sheet set. So you can copy the basic mechs that are out there basing the game around. Just use your printer with a scanner on, make some copies. Or go to the library, whatever. We went to the nursing home because his grandfather owned it, and we had access to the copier when it was closed. So I had to buy paper. That was a good option. Now, this game's been around since, I believe, the 80s. I found out about it in the 90s, obviously, as I just mentioned. And it's really... It can be really in-depth or really lightweight. Now, if you stay with the really basic rules, and now there's an even super basic rule set from the newest set I picked up, it's so easy. You can pick up, teach someone how to play in less than 10 minutes, and they'll understand it and be able to have a good time. Now, there are enough bonus rule books, extra rule books, extended information, extra equipment you can use, and they stagger it as level 1, which is what the basic initial set was, level 2, extended rule set, level 3, the extremely extended rule set. Level 3 is kind of variable as to how deep you want to go down that rabbit hole. I like reading technical manuals, so I like level 3. But it all goes along some kind of a jagged storyline about when the world broke apart, lost technology, the Starly guys all went away and came back and were the clans, and now we're all weird, and they had cooler stuff than when they left, but all the people that left back here didn't have as good technology because, well, war, scientists all dying here and there, and, well, you're left with what you got. But over the years, I have many times gotten in and out of collecting it. I did my best to get as many different of the game concept sets because the game does have basis on the basic stuff is battle mech for a storytelling robotic thing with a person in the head. Full of weapons and armor, anywhere from 20 to 100-ton units. Now, that's not the end of the game. There's also aerospace fighters, which are planes and stuff. They're an extra additive. There are elementals and power armors, which are tiny, like 1 to 2 tons kind of things, compared to the 20 to 100 ton. I think they can go down to 10 tons technically, but there weren't any in the records that I remember of that were less than 15, and even those were rare. Then there were protomechs, which were anything between the battle armor and 10 tons. They're the 9-ton critters, so you have more range. Also, you have infantry setups, so you can have like guys with rifles going up against these things. And rules why this can make sense and why they can actually do things. Tanks and trucks and boats and hovercraft and cars, and all sorts of vehicles, ranging from tiny to hundreds of tons per a boat, like a destroyer type boat, some like that Navy actually has. And that's all just in this planet. Beyond that, you also have the drop ships that would transport all these mechs and vehicles and things around, and they're heavily armed. They are big enough to carry anywhere from a few mechs to 18 or more, 36 mechs, and they would be able to take off. Those just drop to the Earth and the planet and back, and then they would have to attach to jump ships, which would jump them between planets and things. So you get another plane of battle, and these are all books and sets that I have. So you can play as the jump ships and the fighters and the fighters and the jump ships, fighters and the people on the ground, jump ships shooting at the people on the ground, jump ships shooting at each other, or drop ships shooting at each other. It all gets, and then there's warships, which are even bigger than the jump ships. Jump ships generally were just something that could basically attach your drop ships on and fly back and forth. They generally weren't very well armed. The warships were. They were like the jump ships, but full of gun. Now, perspective-wise, one of the bigger listed warships could use one shot out of one weapons bank, shoot at the map sheet where your guys were on the ground, and even if they missed their target, the amount of damage the game says that would happen, the ground would be like 20 units deep from where it was, crater, and everything would basically have been wiped out. So this is why you're not supposed to have capital class warships shooting into planets. You will cause devastation by far. So I have a lot of sets that I've got over the years and add-ons and packs and things where they come with little plastic mechs. These are more fun to play with, at least, because even if it's not the particular critter you're controlling by your paper, it's a lot more fun to walk around a little man than the other option, which is the cardboard foldy man, where it's split cardboard that folds down and goes onto like a little plastic foot. Pretty much every starfighter and cruiser I have is a piece of cardboard folded over on a foot. This does make it a little less fun, and almost all of those are even not directly representative. They are just, alright, there's these different warship pictures you can pick from. Use one of them so you at least know you're different than the other guy. Kind of bummer on that. At least the battle mechs I have that are foldovers are different mechs. So you'll have, this one actually looks different. It actually says what it is, and you can know that you have that particular guy out there. Which, I agree, that is pretty good. I like that, at least. Several sets of add-ons and remakes I've gotten have had quite a few of them, so at least I have a variety of extra mechs that I can add in as either supplemental or just what we play with. Most of the vehicles and infantry are also little paper mans, but again, better to have not to have. There were, one of the additives was City Tech. It was a standalone, but can be basically just an additive to the main game. That's where we involved some of the vehicles initially and buildings. There have been multiple different versions of Aerospace and Battlespace, which was where the spaceships and fighters and dropships and stuff all came from. Battlespace I found was the better of the ones for dealing with space combat. Aerospace and Aerospace 2 mostly were just trying to interact the fighters with the ground units, so it was more focusing on that as opposed to being its own thing. I can dig both, but if I had to pick and choose, Battlespace definitely. Um, there were some other ones, Battle Troops, I think it was. I don't remember the names of all of these. There was one that added in the people and the Protomechs and stuff like that. I've had also many extra um, supplement sets where it was just a bunch of extra mechs to add into whichever game you're land-based game you're playing. Always nice. Always good to have more dudes. Um, Several different versions of the game itself. Like I have a set of version 3. I have a set of version 4. I've had a couple since it's changed hands a few times over the years. Different printers. Wizards of the Coast owned them for a while. I think it's WizKids owns them now. I think. I've lost track. I just happily find stuff when I find it. A few Anthrocons ago, I picked up one of my cool sets. I think it was during early WizKids ownership. It had a lot of good plastic mechs with it. Nice maps. Nice printed rulebook. Good box, too. And this year, I just purchased 2 new starter sets. The basic set, which was really for beginners, and I'm okay with that because I can easily take it with me to a friend's house and say, I'm going to teach you. And it's easier to teach with something simple than to teach with a pile of rulebooks, because a pile of rulebooks can be scary. Little thin rulebook, not scary. Also simplified record sheets that only have basic damage, no critical hit tables, no heat tables, none of that other fluff. Now the other set I got at the same time, same printing, the normal set is more towards the level 1 rules that were originally there. Different set of critters, of course. Nice battle mix, good construct. I was pretty happy with them. Good choices of which ones they had in there. And good quality overall. So if you are looking to get Battletech and starting to it now, the stuff that's out there at the moment is actually a very good option set. If you're really not sure, get the basic one. You're not investing much. It's only about $15 for the $15 to $20. I think it was $15 on Amazon. I can't remember. But it's not very expensive. The more advanced one, you're going to pay anywhere from $40 to $50. But it's a lot of game. It's got a bunch of little mans in it. It's got a bunch of rules. It's got a bunch of extra stuff. So you have options. I'm not going to say you have to buy the big thing to have fun. Now, beyond that, there are a lot of supplementary books and things. There are a ton of technical readout books, which are just for your funds of it. They're basically readouts on a bunch of the mechs. Good thing is they have all the stats on them, so if you just want to go and use the creator paper, the blank record sheet, you can make any of these mechs. You may not have a little model that perfectly matches them, but you pick one that you kind of like and say, that's this guy for this match. As long as you identify which thing you're talking about, you're good. And its face, and it's kind of important as to have which direction its feet are. And there are also print books where it's literally just copy sheets that are the battle mech ready to play with. So I have a few of those where you can just put it on the copier and there you have whatever this mech is. You're ready to go. Pick a dude to associate it with, put on the board. You go. And additional rule books, like Maximum Tech was added weaponry, advanced weaponry, more fun things, ways to make the rules even cooler, going past the basic answer and going, so what if we made a cannon that was even bigger and wasted a lot more space and used a lot of energy? Let's do that. So what if we had one that was half the weight of a 100-ton mech and we just strapped it on the side of it and it looked like obstinate thing that's ready to fall over? We'll make that. And there were clarification rule sets like the Compendium, which was and Master Rules after that. Were basically just rehashes of all of level 2 rules all in one book. They're not really thick, not even as thick as a basic Dungeons and Dragons book. about half as thick as I think is a regular AD&D guide for this full set of level 2 rules. It's not a lot of learning, and you learn as you go. If you only want to learn so much, you only go to so much, and as long as everybody in the house agreeing what rules you're playing with, we're good. Additionally, there are scenario sets. You can buy things like playing out for this campaign, and or this group of adventurers, or this house of the inner sphere, or this clan. You want to play as them or against them. There are books that have scenario sets. Those can be interesting just in the fact that they oftentimes would have printout sheets too for some of the mechs that were involved in them, or ships, whatever. And you'd have something to play as. It'd add a lot to the role-playing facility. There was also the Mech Warriors, the RPG portion of it, where you're really the character more than the stuff. So you had options to get into that as well. And of course, there have been a few video games out there. Mech Warrior 1 through whatever. A couple of Mech Commanders. Those I loved. And there's a new Battletech game out on Steam. I remember kickstartering it and played a little bit. It wasn't much fun to play this by myself, so I didn't too much. But it really is one that absolutely emulates the board game. So if you want to look on Steam for it, it was an excellently built thing, and they keep improving it. It's fun. Okay, well, I think I babbled on enough about Battletech for the night. If you want to learn more, ask me questions. I'll be happy to answer whatever I know. But I hope all you little Pokemons behave tonight. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please be nice and share this with your friends, especially if they like big metal robot-y things and want to hear about them, spoken by a creepy Pokemon like myself. Thank you for watching. Patreon will be linked to the bottom if you're interested. And I thank you for coming. Have a lovely, lovely night, all you little children, and you'll behave and watch all my videos. Yes, you will. Thank you. Good night.